For the next 5 days, I'm gonna be solo surviving on Snake Island, an island deep in the rainforest here in Australia, filled with some of the world's most venomous snakes. That is the biggest carpet python that I have ever seen. What are you doing, mate? He is massive. Throughout this time, I'm gonna have to catch my own food, build my own shelter, and attempt to track down 7 different species while I'm over here on this island over the next 5 days. And this right here is the snake that we wanted to find. We're gonna track down certain species of snakes where if I was bitten all the way out here, there is no chance of me making it off this island alive. It's not only snakes that are living on this island with me. This right here, to me, is much scarier. But before we do that, we need to make it to Snake Island. And the only way to get there is via an ancient 100-million-year-old flooded creek that flows around this island. This is gonna be such a wild adventure. The way to actually get there is by following this flooded river just down this way. So cool. Picking up speed. This is the start of a wild adventure. It's always a pretty nerve-wracking feeling when I know that I'm gonna have to be surviving, catching my own food, sleeping out here under whatever conditions come up over the next few days. But it's exciting, it's so exciting. So cool. This is where my kayak's gonna be staying for the next 5 days. I've dragged it up out of the floodwater line, and the plan is to come back here in 5 days' time and collect it. So that over there behind me is Snake Island. We still have to cross the river and start trekking through the jungle, looking for some of the world's most venomous snakes. But before we do that, I wanna give you a layout of this island, this really rough map that I drew of it. So we're currently up the top of the island here, and just down that way, there's 2 streams that split off that actually run through the center of this place. We're gonna be following one of those streams all the way down through this ancient forest behind us, and the sun's supposed to come out in the next couple hours, so I reckon we'll be able to find a few different species of snakes first up in the morning. But what I'm really excited for is early tomorrow morning, the plan is to wake up and head to Death Adder Cliff. It's the place where I found the rarest snake here on this island, the Death Adder, which not only also happens to be the fastest striking snake on Earth, but one of the most venomous snakes in the world. Pretty cool to have a layout of this place. What am I bringing in my backpack for the next 5 days to help me survive here on this island? First off, we got a knife. There's no way that I'm coming onto this island, a place that's filled with wild dogs, without one of these. Makes me sleep a little bit better while I'm camping out here by myself. We've got a trail camera. This is gonna be super cool to see what other species are lurking around this island after dark. We've got a torch. Because most of the species that live here on this island are actually nocturnal, I want to try and find as many snakes as possible. So this is going to help me do that after dark. Another thing that I would never come on this island without is a snake bite survival kit. Nothing crazy in here, 3 compression bandages so that if I was to get bitten by one of these highly venomous snakes that live here on this island, these compression bandages will keep me alive for a little bit longer until I can get to help. We're going to start trekking through the jungle and see what we can find. Look at this right here. Little python, the largest snake on the island, climbing up this tree right here. And I think he's gonna climb all the way up there. Way up in the canopy. This is the largest snake that lives here on this island. Whoa! And it's crazy to think that the largest snake here can grow up over 4 meters long. There could be snakes on this island with me that are over 4 meters long. You don't mind if I take a seat here real quick? We are pretty high up in this canopy at the moment, and what a way to start this adventure here on Snake Island. A little carpet python looking at me dead in the face. It's so cool to be in the same vines with this snake and climbing up the tree just like he is. Now, although this is the biggest snake here on the island, this could be the snake that I'm least worried about. There's a lot more highly venomous species that live here that we're hopefully going to be able to track down over the next 7 days that we're surviving here. Now the thing is, this isn't just a challenge about how many snakes that I can find, to catch your own food, to collect your own water, to live out here with the other dangerous animals that are on this island with me. Pretty insane way to start this adventure over here on Snake Island. We're gonna let you be. Thank you so much for this awesome experience. I'm gonna climb down. Hope you catch a rat tonight. As we traced the winding streams through the heart of the ancient forest for over an hour, we encountered two more snakes, a reclusive blind snake and another larger python, which makes 2 out of 7 species checked off on our list. However, the real hunt begins after dark, for this place truly comes alive at night, and so do the snakes. And this right here is the snake that we wanted to find, and my favorite snake on earth, known as the bandy or hoop snake. And you can see how much I love these snakes. You know, there's one on my shirt right here that I wear in all my videos. They spend about 90% of their time living underground and only come out to feed on the surface. So this guy would have been underground earlier today when I was walking around this island. And no doubt before the sun comes up, he'll be back underground again. But what he's doing at the moment is he's actually hunting. He's looking for the snake that we found earlier on today, the blind snake. The funny thing about it is he's about the same size as that blind snake. So he's gonna have to go hunting for something a little bit smaller than that. It's so cool to just look at this snake's scales up front. They're such an interesting looking snake. And I'm guessing, like zebras, every bandy would be unique with their stripe pattern. So if you had enough time on your hands, I'm sure you could identify them individually. It's crazy that throughout the day, I would have walked over the top of these snakes as they're cruising around beneath the surface. But yeah, this is species number 3 for the night. The first snake of the night. What we're gonna be searching for now is some highly venomous snakes, which I know call this island home because I've found them here before. But what I'm gonna do now is back, let this bandy be. They look super cool when they're cruising around with that beautiful stripe pattern. Have a go at this. And this is the first highly venomous species of the trip, the small-eyed snake. In Australia, I believe there's only been 1 or 2 deaths from this species. But when you start looking over into countries like Papua New Guinea, there's a lot more deaths coming from these small-eyed snakes. But if I got bitten by this small-eyed snake out here, I'd definitely not be in a good way. Now, if I remember correctly, they have a mycotoxin in their venom. It affects muscles, including the heart muscle, days after the bite. Now, he's actually acting super chill for us at the moment, but I'm sure in a minute he's gonna freak out. They always do. Now, although this is a highly venomous snake, there's 5 other species living here with me for the next week that I'd be much more nervous about working with. The death adder, the fastest striking snake in the world. Eastern brown snake, the 2nd most venomous snake in the world. Coastal taipan, just behind it. Rough-scaled snake, and Stevens banded. They are 5 of the most venomous snakes in Australia, and all happen to live on this one island right here. So believe it or not, it's not snakes that I'm worried about when I come out here. There's actually a pack of wild dogs that I've seen on this island before, and even walking around today, there's evidence of them, footprints in the sand. So I'm gonna keep my torch and my knife on me. But yeah, we'll wake up tomorrow and go on a big adventure, see what other species we can find. It's just started raining on the first night that we're here, and I don't have a shelter. I'm gonna need to find some place to take cover before I get wet. Creek's flooded. Whoa. Look at that. Giant spiny freshwater crayfish. So my backpack, with all my camera gear in it, is tucked up under a log, so it's not getting wet, but there's not much cover for me. We've got about 3 hours until the morning. We're gonna have to wait it out. Good morning. Well, that was the worst sleep that I've ever had in my life. I think the main goal for today is not only are we going to try to tick off some more species of snakes, but I need to build a shelter. I need to make a fire to dry out these clothes. And if I'm going to survive here for 5 days, I need to find a place that's waterproof. I'm literally soaking wet right now. It's 7 a.m. It's not something that we can do every single day or my energy is just gonna get drained so quickly. What I'm gonna do is cross this river and head further up into the rainforest where there's more resources and build a shelter. That is the biggest carpet python that I have ever seen. That thing has to be 3.5 meters long. This big fella is an absolute monster. Now, no doubt in a minute he's gonna start crawling across this little rocky section and we'll actually get to see how big he truly is. But out of the hundreds of carpet pythons that I've found, now this is a very common species, this right here is the biggest one that I've ever seen in the wild. He's definitely over 3 meters long. I believe the biggest one that's ever been recorded is 4.2 meters, which is a massive snake. This one, what are you doing, mate? You wouldn't want to get tagged by a snake of this size. He would have eaten so many animals throughout his life to get to this size. And although it's not another species, we've found 2 of these pythons on this island already. To find one this size is about as rare as finding any other snake on this island. So coastal carpet pythons are a very common snake. These snakes love living inside people's roofs. It gives them a place that they can take shelter, but also there's lots of rats, possums living in there that these snakes can feed on. And it's estimated that 1 in 3 houses here on the Sunshine Coast have one of these snakes living inside of it, which is crazy. Very common snake, but not many people get to see them at this size. What I want to do is get a clear measurement on this snake. Now, I'm not allowed to touch it, but if we move back for a second, this snake's gonna retreat and we'll be able to find a marker between 2 rocks here that we can come back and measure. And we'll be able to see exactly how long this snake was at the end of this video. Very big snake. Look at that. He's about to cross. This has to be one of the coolest things I've ever filmed. Look at that snake. He is massive. So we're just down on the edge of the main river, eye to eye with this snake at the moment. Very impressive animal. An animal that deserves lots of respect because it's survived for this long out here. It's not an easy thing to do. Moving up this stream to a place that I've never actually explored before here on Snake Island. And I'm super keen to see what species are here because it seems like there's different areas that hold better populations of different species here on this island. For instance, there's a lot of boigas that are hanging around Death Adder cliffs. And I find most of the pythons around these sandy sections, but super cool place to be exploring. This little rainforest creek is taking me to a really thick section of jungle, which I reckon will be a really cool place to explore, to try track down one of the most venomous snakes that lives here on this island. Also happens to be one of the rarest, the Stevens banded snake. This is perfect habitat for this species, but it's a snake that we cannot get bitten by out here. But the thought that I'm walking past them right now is pretty cool. See if we can track one down later on. They're a nocturnal species. This place down here looks like a pretty cool place that we might be able to camp, but I'm just gonna walk up away from the creek at the moment because I remember there being a place up here that's pretty flat and there was lots of good resources for me to actually build this shelter with. I'm pretty sure there was lots of palm trees up in this area, which is the perfect roofing for a shelter like the one I'm trying to build. Oh. Leeches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Literally 10 leeches on my feet right now. This is probably a lot of people's worst nightmares, but I grew up on a creek that had lots of leeches in it. So I've been getting leeches out in the rainforest since I was about 3 years old, but this is way too crazy to camp in. There's no way that I'm laying down on the floor with this many leeches here. However, there's lots of good materials in this area, so we're gonna quickly grab a bunch of sticks and palm leaves, run them across the creek, and set up camp over the other side. Oh, it's seriously crazy how many of these leeches there are here. So many good materials though. We're gonna build a shelter right here. Oh, look at the size of this one. That is a massive leech. We actually got this rock wall up here, so we're just gonna lean sticks up this way, and the main goal is just to make it waterproof. I need to be getting good night's sleeps out here because I got 4 more days that I have to survive. All right, so we got the layers on the outside done. Now what we're gonna do is grab these palm leaves and start threading them through and just make sure that it's waterproof. We have a bit of a canopy above us, which should help us as well. So this is the finished shelter. It took me about 45 minutes to collect the resources, stack them here on this cliff, and put the thatching on top. Actually super cool. It'll definitely keep me drier than I was last night. There's still leeches crawling everywhere. Now the reason why I really like this place right here to set up this shelter and camp for the next few days is because you can probably hear behind me, there's the creek down there. Now that's gonna be my main food source and water source for the next 5 days that we're out here. And although it's flooded at the moment, it means that a lot of fish will be getting washed down this creek through the flooded water and getting trapped in little pools. So I'm confident that later on tonight we'll be able to get some to cook up. Oh. There we go. Big catfish. That's not bad at all. Yes. That's gonna be my dinner. Day 2 and we've caught ourselves a feed. Now you can actually see this fish's fins and its mouth are really red, and that's because it would have been getting bashed against these rocks while the creek was flooding over the past few days. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly gut this fish, take it back up to our camp, make a fire, not only to dry out my clothes, but to cook up this big fella right here. There's a very good population of catfish that live in these creeks, although I might have put a dent in them over the past few years. But yeah, so blessed that we've not only found some really cool snakes today, but we have a safe place to sleep and we also have a feed. Let me go grab it. Not bad at all, big catfish. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna stoke up this fire, get it roaring, wait for it to die down into coals, and then we'll chuck this catty on. So here on this island, there's 14 or 15 different species of snakes that would be living here in this rainforest around me at the moment. Most of them are nocturnal species as well. And one of my favorite things to do, something that I've been doing since I was little, is going for a big night walk through this island by myself at night looking for these deadly snakes. But not only deadly snakes, there's platypus that live here on this island. They come out after dark as well. And I mean, who knows what other species are living out here. I can guarantee that living here on this island with me are species that have never been discovered before. Insects that are new to science, 100%. Pretty cool. As soon as we cook up this fish, it's gonna be getting dark, and we're gonna be heading out into this forest, seeing if we can track down the Stevens banded snake, which should be coming out at this time of day. Very venomous species. Okay, so what we're gonna do is lay these sticks across the top, creating a bit of a base to put this fish on, so we can kind of cook it over the fire. And then we'll chuck this big catty on and cook it for about 20 minutes on each side. So in this creek, there's 4 species of fish that I could eat. Eels, catfish, perch, and bass. This is the second worst tasting one. Looks so good. I actually don't mind that at all. So much meat on it as well. I feel like such an animal right now. I think if I can catch a meal like this every 1 to 2 days, I'm gonna be sweet. Although perch tastes better, and I reckon they'll be just as easy to catch as this catty that we caught today, you have to catch 6 or 7 good sized perch in order to get the same amount of food as one big catfish like this. So who knows, maybe I will be eating another one of these on the trip. It tastes pretty good, and it'll give me the energy for tonight's hunt through the forest, looking for some of the world's most venomous snakes. Right, so it's nighttime over here on Snake Island, and we've just found a new species. I think this is species number 4 or 5 that we've ticked off in this video, but this snake down here is a venomous species of snake, a mildly venomous species called the golden crown snake. One of 3 different types of crown snakes that would live here on this island. Now, as I was saying earlier today, there's about 14 or 15 different species of snakes that actually live here on this island. What we're looking for tonight is some more highly venomous ones. But this little fella, although it is a venomous species, is not a snake that I worry about while coming out here to this island. Let's move back and see if he starts crawling around. Now what he's doing is he's picking half of his body up into the air, making himself look bigger, making himself look scary. Ooh. So this right here is one of the most venomous species of snakes here on Snake Island, the Stevens banded snake. Not an easy species to find either. And we're just gonna move back a little bit. They're a nocturnal species, so he was just hunting along this little rocky area. Now this snake right here has a neurotoxic venom, but luckily enough for me, he's not out here trying to kill me. He's actually out here hunting himself. On this island, I think he'd mainly be feeding on a diet of frogs, small lizards. They're nocturnal, so maybe species like geckos. But yeah, super cool to see him cruising through Snake Island at night. Day 2 of this 5-day survival challenge complete over here on Snake Island. I think we only have a couple more species to tick off before we hit 7 species, which is pretty cool. But if you have a look at this, this is who I'm sharing my shelter with tonight. Just behind us, we got a big spider up here on the wall. Not the worst creature that I could be bunking with tonight. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm using my backpack as a bit of a pillow. It's actually super comfy on this dirt and these ferns right here, which is nice. You can see the fire burning out there. I don't think any wild dogs are gonna walk past that little barrier, which is cool. We're gonna get a good sleep, so much better than last night. And we'll wake up early tomorrow morning, head to Death at a Cliff and try track down the fastest striking snake on Earth. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Morning of day 3. The sun's out today, which means the snakes should be coming out as well, especially after a few days of rain and overcast weather. I reckon we should be able to find some diurnal species out here in the rainforest today. Have a go at this big fella right here. So this is a video filming on Snake Island, but there's no way that I can pass up the opportunity to film one of the biggest insects here in Australia. Take a look at him sitting on this leaf right here. That is amazing. And you know, it's not like they're an uncommon species, but to spot them in a place like this, in a rainforest as thick as this, they blend in so well. The reason why they're that green color is so that they can camouflage from predators. And this one right here is a big female. Now the really cool thing about this is these female stick insects have the ability to breed by themselves. So in times when it's tough to find a mate out here, this big girl can reproduce by herself out in this forest. The thing is, all of her babies will also be female. So in order to keep the population of these creatures healthy, they do have to mate out in the wild. So we'll just let him use those little claws at the end of his feet to grip onto my face. Super weird feeling. Literally gripped onto my lip right there. How cool is that? No doubt I would have walked past so many more, and so many more on this island right here, because when the females give birth, they can give birth to up to 1,000 babies at one time. And those babies, unlike this big one, are about this big. This big girl would have been that size about 7 months ago. And in that time of cruising around the forest, flying around and consuming different leaves, she's grown to this size, but she's actually getting to the end of her life. So I feel pretty blessed that I can share this last experience with this big girl before she dies out here. Another day over here in this beautiful ancient rainforest. While walking back to camp today, it was so amazing to see the old trees, the big fig trees. We got the fire going. We're gonna have an early night's sleep tonight, get up tomorrow and try and find some more snakes. There comes a point in these 3 to 5 day survival challenges where I have to shift my focus from finding animals to just surviving, because your energy is just zapped so quickly out here when you're not eating as much food as you normally would be. But I mean, camping out here by myself is the coolest thing ever. That's another question I get on my channel. Is it scary being all the way out there in the forest by yourself at night? And honestly, just knowing that there's no people out here on this island, and the only thing I have to worry about is wild dogs, really, or yowies. I feel pretty safe going to sleep here at night, especially when you got a shelter like this. Take a look at this big fella. A massive huntsman spider. Pretty cool, let's pick it up. It's not only snakes that are living on this island with me. This right here, to me, is much scarier. It's actually the biggest species of huntsman that lives on this island. There's around 86 species of huntsmen that live here in Australia, more being discovered every single year. And although it is scary, you know, I got a giant spider on my shoulder right now, they're actually gentle creatures. They're beautiful creatures. So my favorite thing about huntsman spiders is, unlike other spiders that actually build a web and catch their prey in a web, this guy right here has actually been known to actively hunt their prey. Sometimes animals as big as small lizards and mice. Not safe from this spider right here. Damn. Super creepy, eh? I was wondering where he was. Feeling super drained, super tired, but also pretty good because we've just survived for 4 days. We've got one more night left out here in the rainforest. Now we still have tonight. The species that we weren't able to track down this time is obviously the death adder. But if you want to see another solo survival adventure over here on this island, let me know and I'll come back, or maybe even a week next time. So good to have one last swim over here on this island. We're just walking back to camp at the moment. Gonna set up the fire, get it going for the night. Probably get an early night's sleep, to be honest, because tomorrow we've completed this 5-day survival challenge. It's been really cool, but I'm keen to get back home. I mean, look what we're walking through right now. So amazing. On our final day, headed back to camp, we spotted our 7th species, the brown tree snake. Challenge complete. What a crazy adventure over here on this island. So many cool animals over the past few days. But being out here for 5 days, I think we've done pretty good with the amount of species that we found. I'm really stoked with that. I'm gonna go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, we'll get in the kayak and head back out of this place. Thank you so much for watching this adventure. I'm always so humbled by experiences like this. If you want to see more of these videos and support me, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you all next week in the next adventure.